Did somebody else want to add something? I heard someone chime in there. So life outside the business in the last few minutes. So we've been talking a lot about this. You know, what is it that we need to do in order to be able to build a business that gives us the time and money we want, leverage some of that time and money to create some financial independence, but also do it in a way that gives us a life. You know, that doesn't mean that we don't ever work hard or work late or work evenings and weekends, but can we put the boundaries in? And the question is, well, how? How do I do that? The whole purpose of this first section of our cohort was to help give you guys the building blocks for what you need personally to build it your way, to work for you. Because what's going to work for, you know, Will or Jeff or Jay is not necessarily going to work for Ivan or Sasha or Amit. That's okay. We all have a similar destination in mind, but we have different paths on how we want to get there. Let me stop sharing so I can let Amit in. There we go. We have different paths to get there. So some ideas that might be helpful. Work on getting, you know, just expanding what you do and what your accomplishments are separate from the business. So, you know, a couple weeks ago, we spent some time creating your vision, your 5 keys, and who am I now? Those are all meant to be, you know, living, breathing documents that evolve with you over time. So I'd say revisit those. Look at those, update them as you're motivated to do that, and continue to refine them. I'd also ask that you share that with your Cultivate advisor. Get them on the same page as you. You'd be surprised once they understand really what you're trying to build in all 3 areas, business, financial, and personal freedom, how much they could bring to bear to help you accelerate that. Not just on the business front, but these guys we're all successful business owners in our own right, and we have networks and relationships to people that we could plug you into if we just knew more about what you really want and need. So I really encourage you to share this with your Cultivate advisor. And then together decide, how are we going to build a business that allows me to become the person I want to be? You know, one of the interviews I'm going to do is with a client of mine who has young kids. He just celebrated his 10-year anniversary of his business. His kids are, you know, not quite that age. So he started the business with no kids. He now has young kids. He has never, ever, and his wife works too. So they've had to figure out the whole childcare, getting them to and from school, all that kind of stuff. And he draws a line on when it's his time in his day that he has to be the one taking care of being a dad, that he does not let business interfere with that. And in 10 years that he's owned his business, he's never, ever, not once. So he's just chosen to build his business in a way, and he had his best year ever last year with COVID. So he's just made a conscious decision to build his business in a way that he's not going to sacrifice what's really important to him. When we first met and we're deciding whether or not we're going to work together, he made it really clear to me. He's like, listen, if your game plan is that I got to work way more hours and we're just going to, you know, grind and to crush things, then this is not going to work for me. And I really respected that he had that amount of insight and that he'd already figured out in his own life how to put the bumpers around it. And he just wanted some help to do it, you know, more effectively. So I'd encourage you guys to also get that clear, if you're not already, with your advisors, and let them know. You'd be surprised at how much they could help you accelerate this stuff once they're on the same page as you. You know, but it's your ship. You got to tell them where you want it to go. They're not going to just know, unless you guys have already had these types of conversations together, in which case, kudos. The last thing in the last few minutes that I wanted to